here from Create with Scrimping Mommy. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm here today to do a video that I've not done for a long time, and that's a card making video. So I am always happy to help anybody that's struggling with crafting. If you have any problems with your crafting, leave me a comment. If I can help you, I will. And a couple of members on my Facebook group have been asking me about cards. How to make card bases, how to cut them, how to score them, how to fold them. So the very basics of card making for beginners. And I remember struggling with this when I was very new to card making, and I had to have a crafty friend explain it to death so that I got it right. So I'm going to show you today how to get it right. So I'm going to do it in US letter size and A4 size so that it helps everybody. Okay, so I've got my letter size here, which is 8.5 by 11. Okay, now we're not going to go into depth about the grain of paper and which way it lays and what the grain is. Okay, if you're using a good quality cardstock, it really shouldn't matter for card making. It shouldn't be a massive problem. So let's just take that complicatedness out and just concentrate on how to size our card bases. So I will be doing mine in inches. If you work in centimetres, I will say that all trimmers, scoreboards, etc., even rulers have both centimetres and inches, so you can follow along by using the inches. Okay, so on the 11-inch side, first of all, we're going to cut this piece of cardstock in half. So half of 11 is 5.5. So we're going to cut it in half. We've got two pieces here. We can make two card bases from this, and we're going to make the traditional fold that goes like, not that one, that goes like this. And then I'll show you the measurements for the 10th fold that goes like that. Okay, so we've cut that in half at 5.5. We're going to put it back in our trimmer, okay, along the 8.5-inch side, and we're going to do half of 8.5, which is 4.25, and we are going to score. Okay, now when you score any piece of card, you are putting an indentation in that card. Okay, so on one side you have got a dent in the card. Okay, and then on the back you will see, and you'll be able to feel a bump. Some people call it that a valley and that a mountain. I'm going to call it a dent because it's a dent in the card, and that's a bump. So when you've made a dent in the card, that is you telling the card or the paper where you want it to go. You're giving it memory. You're squeezing those fibres down. So because you've squeezed it down, you should know that that is the way you fold. Okay, now, you know, if we want to uncomplicate it, if you've got good quality cardstock, it shouldn't matter which way you fold it, but that is the correct way. So wherever you've done the indent or the dent or the score, then you fold away from it. Okay, and then you burnish. Okay, so I'll show you one more time, and then I'll talk about a common problem that some people have. So 4.25, and we're scoring. Okay, now some people have the issue where when they're folding it, they end up where one layer is longer than the other. Now this can happen for a few reasons, in my opinion. Okay, it's not happened to me, as you can see. So one reason is if you are cutting on one device and scoring on another, different brands of things can slightly be out with measurements. Okay, so if you can, cut and score with the same branded item, if you can. You don't even have to use tools. You can use a pencil and a ruler. But if you're using tools, you try and use the same brand. And the other reason why it may fold and be shorter on one side than the other is that when you have done your score, you're not folding away from the dent. You're folding towards the dent. So essentially you're folding inwards from the bumpy side. Okay, now that can increase the risk of your cardstock cracking, and it could give you uneven layers. Okay, another reason is if you've got super thick cardstock, that can give you a discrepancy. You know, this is fairly lightweight. If it was 300 GSM, for example, you could have a discrepancy because the card is so thick that when you're folding it over, it shifts the dimensions. So a way to avoid that is before you burnish, as you scored, so we go back in and we're scoring at 4 1/4. As you score, don't automatically fold here and burnish. Meet up your 2 flat edges, press them down, and then go burnish to make sure that these are even. Okay, and that will work every time. So if you want to do the, the tall skinny temp fold, then you put your letter size paper in on the 8 1/2 inch side, and you go to 4 1/4, and you cut that in half. So you've got 2 long skinny pieces. Then on the 11 1/2 inch side, 11 inch side, I beg your pardon. I'm getting my letter size and my A4 all mixed up. On the 11 inch side, half of that is 5 1/2. So you go to 5 1/2 and you score. And you fold again away from the where you've done the score. Okay, and then that is the temp fold that way. Okay, so let's do it again. So you're going on the 11 inch side, you're going to 5 1/2, you're scoring. Where you've scored, you fold away. Okay, and you can burnish for a nice crisp edge. So that is the temp fold, going that way, and then that is the traditional one. But don't forget, just by turning the direction of your card fold, you've now got, instead of just one design, you've got 2 designs, because you can have that going that way and opening up. You can have that going that way and opening up. You can have that going tall ways and opening up, and you can have that going that way with the skinny way opening up. So in essence, you've got 4 different orientations of card fold there. So those are the US sizes. Okay. So if you are new here, do hit the subscribe button. I have over 2,000 videos of crafting with lots and lots of different things. So A4 size. So our paper measures just shy of 11 3/4. So on the long side, which is the 11 3/4, I cut mine to 5 7/8. So cut it in half. Okay, and you'll get 2 pieces. One will just be ever so slightly a hair, literally a gnat's whisker bigger than the other. It's irrelevant. Okay, it will still fit in your envelope. Then we're going to put it on the 8 1/4 inch side. Okay, half of 8 1/4 is 4 1/8. So we put it to 4 1/8 and we score. Again, we've got the dented side, so that's where we fold. Okay, and you would burnish. All right, and then that gives you that one. Again, same again, 8 1/4, go to 4 1/8, score, fold away from your score, and you've got one that can go that way instead. Okay, so the same cut, the same measurements, you can have them in 2 orientations. If you want to do the tall skinny one, you get it on the 8 1/4 inch side, which is the short side, up to the top of your trimmer. Okay, and you go to 4 1/8, and you cut the whole thing in half. So you've got 2. Then you're going to go in, and it's 5 7/8. Okay, score, fold in from your score line, put your 2 sides together just in case, and burnish. Okay, and then again with the second piece, because we may as well, we've got them cut, there's no point wasting it, burnish. Okay, if you've got super thick cardstock and you're worried that it's not going to, that it's going to crack or anything, what you can do is score it and then turn it over and score it again. Okay, but if you're using regular weight cardstock, it shouldn't be a problem. So there are your 2 temp folds in the A4 size, and don't forget, if you just change the orientation, you've got one going that way and one going that way, and these are the basics of all card making. Okay, the very basics. All right, those are the ones going that way or that way. And then we've got our letter size. So I hope that helps. And if there's any other crafty dilemma that you have that you're really stuck on, maybe even you're watching a tutorial, you just can't follow it, or there's a question that you really need answering, leave a comment in the description box. I'm always happy to help. That's what I'm here for. And I'll do my best to help you. Thanks so much for joining me today. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.